Hello everybody, this is Con on the Road. So recently I was contacted by an owner of a BMW E39 5 Series, which some of you may or may not know is my favorite BMW of all time. Okay, so I've always thought of wanting to get one, but you know, behind my mind, right, there is this awareness that even though prices of the E39 have come to very affordable levels, you're talking about what, some cars I've seen going for as low as 15,000, you know, in the teens. Okay, and the better examples are being advertised for 30,000. Some are even going as high as 60,000 for the rarer variants, like, you know, like if you have the 540i and so on and so forth. But behind the back of my mind, I've always had this suspicion that these cars, even though they are cheap to buy now, they are still not exactly cheap to upkeep. And because of their age, naturally, many parts, okay, many big ticket items in their car are due for replacement and all that. So and the thing is that, right, an E39 at this age, right, is a cash buy. You're talking about putting 20 or 30,000 ringgit down on the car straight away. That's it. Okay, so if you look at it, right, then, right, you know, to be able to put 20,000 or 30,000 ringgit down on a car is actually not much difference from actually buying a brand new, say, 318 F30 318i or 330i, where you still have to put about 20 or 30,000 ringgit down payment before you get your loan and all that. Okay, so yeah, so that one is that is just the start. And so Andy, okay, who owns a very well kept, very meticulously maintained E39 530i, which I'm flashing the pictures on the screen right now. Okay, so he shared with me the maintenance costs of his car. And to sum up, right, he has owned the car for 10 years and it has cost him thus far 160,000 ringgit in maintenance, you know, just servicing and all that, spread over 10 years. So that adds up to thereabouts of 16,000 per year. Okay, well, he also spent another 50-60,000 on the car's appearance, but that's something that is optional, okay. It's your decision to want to beautify the car. You spend that amount of money, that one we don't really care about. But maintenance, you cannot lari one. You have to spend that amount of money. And so I asked Andy, so you must have been upkeeping your car with original BMW parts from day one, and say yes. Okay, so that naturally inflates your maintenance costs a bit lah. Okay, now, but let's look at it from the broad picture. 160,000 ringgit spread over 10 years, that is 16,000 a year. That is about 1,000 ringgit plus a month. Not cheap at all. But is it very expensive? Well, if you are barely stretching it just to afford that Toyota Vios 1.5J, that's a lot of money. But if you are the kind of person whom you based on your calculations, you can afford the loan of a brand new Honda Civic or a brand new Honda Accord, it's not too bad. Okay, because when you're buying a 100,000 ringgit car, and if you take a 7-year 9-year loan, you are still talking about 1,000 plus ringgit of installments per month, and that is, you haven't factored in your maintenance, which obviously will not add up to 160,000 ringgit over 10 years, but you still have to pay that kind of money. So therein lies your estimation point. Okay, so it's not cheap at all to maintain that car. But if you were to compare it with maintaining a brand new non-national C segment or D segment car, if you sum it up over the years, right, you actually end up paying thereabouts of similar money. Okay, maybe slightly more, but well, if you're a car like the E39, right, is an enthusiast kind of car. So if you are an enthusiast, and if you're in a position where you can afford a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord or a Honda Civic brand new, then the buying and upkeep of a BMW E39 is not beyond your reach. You see, the thing is like a BMW E13, a BMW 5 Series at the end of the day, right, whether you're talking about brand new or old, you have to remember that at the very start, these were cars designed with, with orang kaya budget in mind to maintain. So if you are talking about if you are going into this expecting the maintenance of a Vios or a City, please, you need to disabuse yourself of that illusion. That's not the case. But if you are ready to service a 7-year or 9-year loan of a Honda Civic, then an E39 actually is not that scary. Because if you say either this amount of money I spend 1,000 over ringgit a month on loan versus if I save that amount of money I spend on maintaining an E39, is thereabouts the same. But of course the difference is that, right, when you buy a brand new car, for the first 2-3 years, you don't have to worry about things breaking down. You don't have to service the car as often. But whereas with a car like the E39 at that age, you have to be more proactive with the maintenance. You have to service the car more frequently than the manufacturer's recommended schedule. Yeah, and you have to be ready to replace critical components way before they fail. Otherwise, the cascading effect, component A will lead to failure of component B, C, and D, and so on, and it will build up to a ton of other problems. Okay, so at the end of the day, right, whether you are buying a new car or buying a used car, right, it all boils down to this: there is always an overall cost of ownership. Okay, whether you are talking about buying a new car, paying the full price for it, or buying a used car, paying a much lower price but having to fork out money to repair, fork out time to send the car to the workshop, there is always an overall cost of ownership for a car that you cannot lari one. Okay, and it is whatever it is that you go into, right, you just have to go in with your eyes open. You just have to set that money aside, ready to be spent on the car's upkeep. That's all. Yeah. So of course the other advantage is that if like Andy, for example, he spent 160,000 over 10 years on his car. But if let's say like suddenly he says he's never going to ever sell the car, but if he ever decides to sell that car, tomorrow he sells that car, he doesn't have to worry about how much do I owe the bank. Okay, because he already have, because he buy a used car and all that, he would have paid the cash upfront and all that. So his car, no bank hutang, he don't have to worry about paying to the bank. But if you are buying a new car, you stretch over a 7-year, 9-year loan. Okay, after 5 years, you decide to sell the car. First thing you need to do, you have to check your bank, your loan balance. Hey, how much do I owe the bank? Is my car's resale value, on par with what I'm owing? So all these considerations come into play. So buying a car, and upkeeping a car, it is a series of very complex decisions, and there really is no right or wrong. You just have to weigh all factors and decide what's best for you. Okay, so yep, those of you who are shopping for a car now, happy shopping lah. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.